Hi guys, welcome again to my YouTube channel. It's another Friday, and you know what Fridays are for: new posts. So today we are going to be rolling with episode 2 of our Linux series, which is titled Let's Talk About Linux. I mean the series itself, not today's post. Linux, not exactly sure how to proceed calling this, but I think it would be worth it to check how the actual inventor, the creator, decided to call it. That way we'll be on the right path. So welcome again. Today, like I said, we'll be moving to episode 2 of our interesting series, which is Let's Talk About Linux. And last time I spoke about why you need to learn Linux. So if you want to check out that episode 1, click here. The card should show up here. So you click on that to actually know why you need to learn Linux before watching this video or after watching this video, whichever way suits you. The major reason why it is really difficult to convince people that this OS or this skill is something they need to jump on is solely, or part of it is because they already have misconceptions about it from what they've read online or heard from other people who also don't know any better. Which is why today I've decided to title today's video Debunking Linux Myths. Myths? That's a difficult word to say. Debunking Linux misconceptions, those things that you have in your head that are wrong. We are calling them out today. So moving further, the first one that many people think about when they hear about this or even see what it is about is that it is for hackers. So is Linux for hackers? Well, it is a skill that every IT person should know. So do hackers get to learn it? Hell yeah, because most likely they are trying to, break into Linux servers, and what better way to break into Linux servers than actually knowing how it works. So yes, it is a skill that you need as a hacker or a cybersecurity personnel analyst, engineer, whatever, but also a skill that is vital for one who is not a hacker. So if you're a software developer, network administrator, systems admin, DevOps engineer, site reliability engineer, Linux administrator, infrastructure engineer, the list goes on and on. Linux is for you. The second misconception or myth is that Linux is only for servers. So you hear about systems administration or server administration, as it might be called sometimes, and you think, oh, these are the only people that need Linux because why it exists on servers. But that's not the case, because if you actually watched the last video, there was a part where I spoke about Linux being, pretty much everywhere, operating systems on the mobile phones, desktops, laptops, and all of those. So on the mobile phones, we've got Android, and pretty much everywhere you can imagine Linux exists, even on televisions, because these days TVs also use Android operating system, which in itself is Linux. So that is a blatant lie. That is a big wrong. It is not just for servers. The next misconception or myth is that there are few apps available on the Linux platform. Well, this isn't exactly true, because there are lots of applications. The reason why many people say it's few is because there are a lot of popular applications that do not have support for Linux. But most of these applications that actually don't are not even developer tools that you might need for work per se. So the most popular tools in the industry, or the ones that are mostly focused on software development, tend to actually have Linux support, since this is also big in the industry. So we've got tools like Microsoft's Visual Studio Code. We've got even the .NET tools, pretty much everything you can imagine, be it Postman, what else, Git Bash, all of those, everything comes in Linux. Why people say few apps are available is when it comes to day-to-day use. So you're thinking about apps like, say, for example, Photoshop. You're thinking about apps like, say, Lightroom and all of those apps. Well, while they do not exist or they do not have support for the Linux platform, you can actually get tons of alternatives that are free, and most of them even better, that works on the Linux machine. So moving on, the next misconception is that for you to know Linux, you need to master a lot of commands, and that's like a whole big lie. I work on a daily basis, sometimes 8 hours, sometimes more, depending on what the task is for that day. And mostly this involves administering Linux servers, patching servers, and doing whatnot on a Linux kernel or terminal. Now, I don't think I actually know 40% of the commands. I'm not sure I've even reached that. I'll be happy to. I mean, if I do, trust me, I'll feel really like a nerd. But until then, I don't. There is something called the man page. Now, the man page is something we're going to talk about going further in this series, but pretty much what it is a dictionary, so to say, that allows you to check for commands and what they do. The most important ones that you're going to use the most, pretty much copying, moving, and navigating through several directories and paths, those ones will be easy for it to stick into your head when you've done it once, twice, say a week, two. Those are the most important, not most important, but those are the ones you get to use the most. So they'll be easy to stick into your head. And as for the rest, Google. That's pretty much a vital skill in the IT industry. Googling stuff, searching for stuff. So don't be scared you have a lot of commands to learn, because like every other person, Google is there to save you. Now, the last misconception pretty much has nothing to do with the IT industry, but like they say, all work but no play makes Jack a dullard. You want to be able to, use this for work and also use it for other things. And one of the misconceptions that people have is you cannot use Linux for gaming, and that is a lie. While it might be difficult to set up most of the popular games that you play on your Windows gaming machine, on Linux, they might not exactly be available. But actually saying that there are no games supported on Linux machines is false. There are also awesome games there that you can use to cool off that stressful day, to chill and get your mind off whatever bad day you had at work. So if any of these excuses are in your head and they are stopping you from jumping on this train that is moving and leaving you, well, there you have it. I've told you all you need to know. And that is where we end it for today, guys. Next time on episode 3, we're definitely getting our hands dirty, and that's where the fun begins. And on that note, thank you for watching. See you next week.